guys, Beth here, owner of Homegrown Fitness. Thank you so much for tuning in to another podcast. And today's guest, I have Keith, and Keith is just a community member within O'Connell Falls that I got to meet at Small Town Fitness, and he is just a remarkable, unique individual. He's also a client of mine. I'm going to use the word eccentric for his personality. He likes to learn from other individuals and take what he learns and kind of tweak it to make it his own. And every week we talk, we have something new to learn about and discuss. And he's just an incredible human. And his story is phenomenal. So first and foremost, he is a veteran. So I'd like to say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And before I dive even deeper, I would like to just pass the mic over to him.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I was surprised when you asked.
It took me a while to get him on too. Like we first actually started this conversation back in July, so it's now November.
Right. So my name is Keith LaFave. I live here with my wife Shannon and our son Koa in O'Connell Falls. We moved to Wisconsin in 2009 from Arizona. Yep. So we're kind of transplants. My service journey.
Yes.
I joined the Air Force when I was 18 years old. It's 1980. And to be frank, my journey to getting into the military was running from a life of crime. I had a pretty, I'm not going to say rough childhood. Challenging is a better word. I don't like to use my childhood or the way I grew up as an excuse for any of the choices I made. I made the choices myself.
I love that.
But yeah, I went in the Air Force. I grew up in Texas. I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, of all places, and moved to Texas when I was very young. Grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. Went in the service when I was 18. They stationed me in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. From Texas to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan was quite a shock.
Quite a shock.
I remember driving up there from Texas, and it was the first time I'd really seen snow. And it was January of 1980, and the snow was piled as high as buildings, it seemed to me at that time. And that's how I got turned on to the Midwest. It's gorgeous.
I'm a Four Seasons gal, and I say that to everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't go back to Texas or any of the other places I lived for anything. It's this is where we call home. Wow. I don't know. I was an aircraft mechanic. I traveled a lot in the service. I was real fortunate with my job.
What line of service were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
Air Force, okay.
Yep. I was a crew chief on a KC-135, which is the big tankers that you see. That they're flying gas stations. The other aircraft will hook up to them and get fuel in midair. But I did have flight status, which allowed me to travel with my airplane. I got to go to Saudi Arabia. I was in Australia, went to Europe a little bit, over to England, and a lot of stateside stuff. But for a kid out of Texas, that was a real eye-opening experience. I had never been outside of that. It showed me a lot of the world that I'd never seen before. And it also, it began my downfall in the fact that I learned to drink in the military. And
do you find a lot of individuals from the military take on that?
Yes. For me, I don't know how times have changed. It was 40 years ago that I was in the service. I don't know how it's changed now, but back then it's when you did a good job, you were rewarded with a keg of beer after work. And I never really drank growing up. There's a lot of alcoholism in my family, and I think that's why I didn't drink when I was younger. But started drinking and started getting married.
Yeah. Yes. We're going to touch on that subject in a little bit. But so tell me about like your experience within the service. So you said you've been kind of all over, coming from Texas to Michigan. Just the people you've met, maybe some of the challenges, one memory that just stands out.
Wow. Probably being in Alaska, Eielson Air Force Base in 1982, and sitting at the end of a runway at about 2 a.m, heating the cockpit of an airplane because it was so cold that we had to heat the instruments on the plane. And a pack of wolves ran across the runway underneath the Northern Lights. It was like a movie. It
there
took my
is a
breath
movie
away.
like that. It's called Gray.
There you go.
But people died on that movie, so I'm glad you guys all survived.
But seeing that, I remember. I think I was 20 at the time, and had never experienced anything like that before. And it really when you ask what's something I remember, that was just breathtaking to me. The rest of the military, I mean, I did my 4 years. It was, putting gas on airplanes, changing parts on airplanes, a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
I was an 18-year-old kid with a charge account at the NCO club, which is the bar on base. So they take you out of high school and they give you a charge account at the local bar.
Oh my God.
I'm sure it's changed since then, but that's the way it was for me. I'm 20 years sober as a recovering alcoholic, and
congratulations.
Thank you. It's nothing I did. Something some old guys taught me. I was real active in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I believe it saved my life. It's interesting for me as a recovering person to see the culture of beer here in Wisconsin. I mean, it's Wisconsin, and it's unfortunate. I think some of the promising things that I see though with that is I think that the younger kids aren't drinking like they were.
Yes.
I know my son, who will be 20, him and I have talked about that pretty extensively, and I don't think any of his buddies drink, and I think that more and more kids are waking up to some of that stuff. So that's something that is encouraging to see.
I'm 29 forever, and I see that.
Yeah. 29 forever.
Yeah, 20. I really am 29 forever. So with you, what about your relationships within the service? Do you still stay in touch with any of the vets?
A couple of guys. There's one buddy of mine. We were roommates back during those times. Me and 3 other guys rented the house off base, and we literally called it the ranch. It was the 4 of us, and we're all 19-year-old kids. We all have motorcycles. We all like to chase girls. We all like to drink, and it was quite the party house. But one of those guys I stay in real good touch with. We get together a couple times a year. One of them, probably my best friend, has passed on. And interestingly, ironically enough, alcoholism killed him. And then one of the guys, I'm not sure where he went off to, but there's a couple of guys I stay in touch with.
When you guys get in touch, does it feel like you're just picking up where you've left off?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Especially guys that you traveled with. It's, excuse me.
Yep.
Once you have those relationships and you do certain things together, you pick off like you're 18-year-old kids again sometimes. Unfortunately, we're in our 60s now. So
you still act like a kid. Let's be real here. We know this.
I just got a T-shirt the other day, and it says it's weird to be the same age as old people.
Yeah, it is. That's why we're 29 forever.
Yeah.
So once you came up to your term of the 4 years, where did the next chapter take you?
Riding motorcycles. Stayed in the UP for a little bit, and then traveled out over to where did I go from there? I went to Texas, hung around Texas for a little bit, stayed out of trouble. Went to Arizona, Nebraska. I just bounced around doing odd jobs.
Were you working odd jobs?
Yeah, doing a lot of mechanical work. Later in my life, I got into sales. Spent a lot of time in the car business. It was and the service related into the car business as well as sales end of it. Did that for quite a while.
Okay.
And now I'm still in sales. I do rental equipment for a company out in Madison.
And how often do you run down to Madison for that?
Probably twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I work from home. I'm pretty fortunate with that. The wife does too. We're pretty blessed with that. And then I go out on the road a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
But I'm home every night.
Yeah, which is nice. I'm sure you guys go stir crazy though when you guys are working together.
Yes. If you want to check the basis of your marriage, be together all day, every day.
All day, every day. But he does have a sauna at home.
Yes.
You guys have 2 dogs.
2 dogs, 2 cats.
Yeah. So there's lots of entertainment in home as well. And your son is still at the house.
My kid's still at the house. Yeah. He can stay there forever.
Yeah. Hey, that's a thing.
It is a thing.
There's many families that live in one home, and they thrive on that.
I couldn't imagine being 20 today. The challenges these kids have today.
I believe it.
It's so much different. And, as a father of a 20-year-old today, especially being, I'm one of the last of the boomers. I was born in 61, and I think the boomer cutoff is 64. So watching my kid in his teen years and my teen years are so much different.
Right.
It's incredible, the difference. And many times during the week, I have to remember that and bite my tongue and realize that though he is like me, he's growing up different than I did.
Yeah.
A whole lot different than I did.
Yeah, I think a lot of things have changed. Even from when I've graduated, things have changed. Like, I still have dreams where if I go to college, if I were to go to college today, I like have a panic attack because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, the computer side of things, everything's online now. And it's like, I'm an in-person learner. I'm a hands-on learner. I like this type of connection and communication. And like, I think a lot of these younger kids don't have that.
Right. Agreed.
They don't have the strong communication skills. I mean, mine aren't the greatest either, but I'm working on that.
Right. That's one of the things that Shannon and I really strive with is with our son particularly, and the three of us, I guess I should say, as a family unit, is lots of communication going on in our house. You know, it's you've got to communicate with each other today, and we were losing so much of that with the cell phone stuff and social media, and yeah, I could go on a rant for that stuff.
Right.
I think the most negative thing that happened to our kids in the last 30 years is the induction of the cell phone.
Well,
they fooled us when they put cell phones in all our hands.
They sure did. I have a client who's got like this little tiny iPhone. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to have something this small, even going back to like the flip phone.
Yep.
But if you think about it, all of us use our phone for work now. So it's so difficult for us to reverse and go back to some of that smaller platform.
I've got a phone in my pocket and this phone here, and one's work and one's personal.
And you're probably constantly checking them both.
Yep.
Which it's so hard.
Yep.
Did you see that in Beaver Dam they're putting up an AI
I did actually.
building?
That is one of the things I do in my job is I go and I call it chasing job sites. When I see construction sites like that, I'll go and solicit my product to them.
Yeah. And
interestingly enough, that is not only the biggest construction site I've ever seen, it's also the most secure.
Wow.
They've got a guard shack there that is unbelievable to try to get through. And I'm a pretty good sales guy. I can pretty much get in anybody's front door, but they shut me down that quick.
Really?
I was shocked. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely shocked at how locked down that site is.
That's crazy.
It's monstrous.
I kind of zoomed in on the comments under when they said it was like breaking news or whatever on Facebook. And I was like just previewing all these different comments, and I loved reading it. And one comment that just stands out is, it reminded me of, have you ever seen The Ranch on Netflix?
Sure.
So you know how they're coming in and they're trying to buy out some of that farm property. And it just right away, it brought me back to that movie because this gentleman was like, yep, you're taking over a small town. And that's what the Midwest is. It's small towners and they don't have a lot of understanding of what's really happening. And you're buying farmland. And it was just like, wow, it's sad to see the short-term life that it's going to bring. So I just wanted to know your perspective. I can't believe that you weren't able to get in.
No, couldn't.
He was a lot there. So like called Shannon like, oh my God, Shannon, I can get in anywhere. And I couldn't even sweet talk my way here.
I was shocked. But I understood. I mean, it's an AI data processing center, you know, and so
what's the ultimate goal with that building? Like,
well, my understanding is that AI, the computers and the servers and everything needed to service AI are so big that they have to have some place. And my understanding also is they're building their own power stations.
Oh, wow.
Some of these AI centers are going to be self-contained as far as electrical power. And I think some of them are going to be selling power back to the grids of some of the cities. So I think that could be complete conjecture, but that's what I've heard.
Okay.
But yeah, it's to process the coming AI stuff.
It's so scary.
AI is scary, but you know, AI has positive things too.
Yeah.
And I've used it a little bit with.
And we've had talks on this before. Like when AI first really started coming big, like you were kind of against AI a little bit. So
Still am.
Okay.
But I have not turned my back on it.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. You can get it to find you workouts.
Yeah.
I did something a couple of weeks ago that was cool. I take a lot of supplements. And I also take a medication for some arthritis that I have. But long story short, I took all my supplements and I put them into Grok, along with all my medications that I take. And I put all that into Grok. And I asked Grok what he thought, because he's he to me, he's probably she to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Asked what he thought about my stack of supplements that I was taking.
Mhm.
And after I put everything in there, long story short, a few seconds, came back and Grok patted me on the back and said, I'm on the right track, keep stacking.
Oh, nice.
It was nice, but
Yeah.
it gave me the reassurance that I'm not having any
Mhm.
interactions that I need to worry about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It validated your choices.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And that was nice. So there's good for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I use ChatGPT just to help edit my typing because I am one that writes how I talk and I don't have commas or anything. So my husband used to be my editor all the time, Adam, and he gets so frustrated in the editing process. He goes, Beth, I basically have to retype your whole thing because it's like you're talking. I said, well, I'm a rambler. You know this, and I don't know how to break myself down. So ChatGPT has been a huge help from that standpoint. And it is good like from a meal planning. So if you wanted to, you type in what you have in your fridge and your pantry and you're like, help me create some healthy meals, it can help. So it has created a little bit of an ease, but it is scary too because it's always listening. It's always watching. So I think of another cartoon movie. It's called The Mitchells, and it's about how AI takes over the world. And I know like you've listened to Joe Rogan and they've had those conversations, and I can't remember who his guest was on for that podcast. It was basically on how it was one of the scientists, and I think, and they tried to slow down the process, but they can't slow it down any longer. So now it's like, now we got to work with it. We got to adapt to it, but we got to make sure we contain it. The
big fear is that they have to make sure at some level there's a human aspect programmed into it. And that's the challenge that they're going to have.
I think what I like is that, you know how we used to just go to Google and you'd Google search.
Right.
And it'd just bring you up all of these different articles, blogs, recipes, whatever you're researching. In ChatGPT or AI, it searches it, the whole platform, and then it breaks it down into what you're really looking for. I find that helpful. You have lost, you and your wife have been on a weight loss journey.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. So it's
what
kind
was
of
the big kicker too.
The big kicker for me. Wow. So I mentioned I'll be 65 in January. I've had in the last 10 years, I've had both my knees replaced, both my hips replaced. The big one for me is 10 years ago when they did my first knee replacement. I remember my excuse for not losing weight, my knee hurt.
Yeah.
So I couldn't work out. And the other thing that we were doing back then, and the two of us, was dieting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, chasing this. I mean, we've got books of diets. I can name the Mediterranean diet, the Atkins diet. I can go down the whole list of all the diets that we tried.
All these different hamster wheels.
Yes. And never really saw any true results simply because it's so easy to get off a diet.
Yeah.
It's not about a diet for me. So the first knee replacement really got me. The second knee replacement, same thing. I had made excuses that I couldn't lose weight because I was in pain. So I should back up a little bit. One of the reasons that I got a knee replacement is our hiking.
Okay.
We were active with the Boy Scouts, and we started doing a lot of hiking. And we do backcountry hiking. We do hammock camping, so we sleep in the trees, and
how fun
it is. It's
what an experience.
It's so much fun. We raised our kid in that lifestyle, and all three of us have benefited from it. But anyway, I digress. Got my second one done, and then my hips started going. I had started working out after getting my knees replaced, and was starting to see some results. And it was simply the going to the gym thing. And it wasn't where I met you. It was another local gym here that we were going to, and started seeing some results and started feeling good about things. And then started dropping a few pounds. And the biggest I got was 295. I remember standing on a scale and looking and seeing 295 pounds, and I'm 6'2". And I thought, wow, that's not healthy. And so that wasn't enough for me to change my lifestyle.
Right. Yeah.
That wasn't enough. When I got my hips done, and that's when it really, really started changing for me. Going to the gym was fun. Going to the gym allowed me to help my hips recover. It got me to meet people like you.
Yeah.
It got Shannon and I doing something together. We love going to the gym together.
You've slept in a few mornings. Plus, his back is hurting, so I haven't seen him in the past.
Beth hasn't seen me because I did hurt my back at the gym, which is another thing. At 65 years old,
you got to be careful.
I do have to be careful, and I forget that because in my mind, I'm still 35. You know, and you see me at the gym trying to lift heavy things, and you know, Beth is screaming about mobility, and I'm thinking, no, I can pick that up. So I've had to teach myself to not be so much of a musclehead, and to really look at what I'm doing to my body.
And that's hard. It's a hard mental shift.
Yes, it really is, because I'm just type A personality, full macho, go. I can lift more than you. And I'm watching 19 and 20-year-old kids in the gym, you know, who are deadlifting this and pushing that and doing that. And I think I can do that. No, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm 65 years old. I have to
You can do it in the variation.
Yes. So that was the big thing for me, was my body deteriorating, being in my 60s, and identifying that, you know, my wife always gets a chair in her eye when I say this, but let's face it, I'm on the last half of my life. You know, it don't go up from here. So my goal is just to be as fit as I can and live as long as I can. You know, my hashtag for life is be hard to kill. You know, it's just that simple. I want to be hard to kill. And that's kind of the mentality that I take. And a lot of that's my family, you know, spending time with my family, and no man wants to admit to himself in his later years that, you know, he's so fat and out of shape that he can't get out of his recliner and his wife is taking care of him.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be that guy. And I've been fortunate in that some of my peers that I've grown up with, some of the guys that I used to run with, I see how their health is today. And it's a good reminder for me to, you know, keep pushing forward. There's plenty of days. I can imagine with what you do, there's plenty of days you don't want to get up and put a smile on your face and go to the gym. You know,
being a sales rep, very similar to what I am, it's no matter the mood that you're currently in, you always have to walk in with a smile on your face. But I have currently been learning. So you watched my little roller coaster of emotion back in August, where I kind of took not a hiatus, but I just was like, you know, it's okay for me to say I'm not okay. I'm not my vibrant self as I usually am, but I'm working on it. I'm coming back to it. I'm processing things.
You know how many people don't learn that though? And they don't take time for themselves? You know, people, my marriage to my wife, I tell people I'm the happiest married man you know. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. And one of the reasons of that is we have time apart. You know, every Saturday, she usually goes shopping or takes her time. Because she works hard all week. So Saturday she goes and takes off. Maybe Sunday I'll go up to, you know, take a drive up to our property up north and check on that. Or maybe Sunday we'll go together. But it's important, I think, for people to know when to take care of themselves and when to just say, hey, I need to back out of here and you know, look out for number one. I think too many people don't take the time to do that.
Absolutely.
Because of guilt. Because it's, you know, I can't do that. I got to go do this.
And guilt is a really tough feeling.
Oh, absolutely. My whole childhood was based on shame and guilt. And, you know, that's something that I didn't touch on a whole lot, and I don't use it to brag or to be a victim or anything, but I've been in 5 rehab centers on my road to recovery. I had a pretty extensive drug and alcohol past. And the biggest thing that I've learned in that process is that guilt and shame, you don't have to carry them around. And the other one is gratitude. You know, it's November. We're coming up on the month of gratitude. And I think that is the number one biggest life hack that I've learned in my journey is to have gratitude for what you have.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy to forget that. So very easy. My biggest problem today is that the city hasn't picked up the leaves in front of my house. Okay? That's my biggest problem today. You know?
Absolutely.
And that's all I've got. What do I have? Anything but to be grateful for everything else.
Absolutely. Adam and I were just talking about that actually before in the car, talking about, you know, how people wish for certain things, but they really don't look at the big spectrum of really what they have. Like they may have something that we don't have. And, that's what they want to say is they want to wish for this. And so like, it just set me back when he said that. I was like, you are right. Like, I'm grateful for what we have. I don't want to wish for anything more, because when you put more on your plate, it's more to take care of. And we are ones that we truly take family. We love being with our kids, and to go out on a Friday night, that's not something that we're
Sure.
interested in doing. To, leave our kids with a babysitter on a Saturday. We don't really do that very often, because we like to be with our
Right.
kids, even though they drive us nuts. But
Right.
we both know, like, it is important for us to have our solo
There's
time.
nothing more important than
Right.
the family, but also knowing when it's time to take a break.
Yes.
You
Yep.
have to do that. You
Yes.
absolutely have to do that.
Like, it's important for the husband and wife to always make sure that they're first.
Yep.
Too, because if we're not connected, if we're not having that communication, what do I say? If we're not in sync, the kids can feel it. Like,
Yep.
there's not good energy.
100%.
And with Adam, like, traveling, like you said, it's that feeling of wanting each other more.
Mhm.
So when he's gone traveling, like, the kids are like, oh, I miss Dad. Well, he'll be home tomorrow morning. Like, it's okay to miss somebody.
Right.
That feeling of missing makes you love them even deeper.
Yep.
And appreciate the time that you have with them more.
Yep.
Do you mind kind of shedding a little bit of light on your rehabs?
Sure. As you know,
Mm-hmm.
Shannon's my fourth wife.
Yeah.
We've been married for, I'm going to blow this. I'm pretty sure it's 23 years. We've been together.
He brags about it almost every morning when he comes.
I'm pretty sure it's 25 years we've been together, and we've been married for 23. I'm pretty confident on that. In January, it'll be 24. I'm pretty sure. Anyway.
Yep. She's going to kill you if you get that wrong.
I know. Rehab was something that I clearly needed. The first time I went into rehab was for alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I minimized my drug use, and then started using more drugs, and it was back and forth.
Like a cycle.
It was a cycle. My first stint of sobriety, I was sober for 5 months,
mm-hmm.
and I was married to a woman, and we had some time apart. I was going to a school across the country, and decided that, I could go, and I always equate it as I like shiny things. I like to chase shiny things. So I got drunk and stayed drunk. And then a couple more rehabs, and got sober again.
Mm-hmm.
This last time, when Shannon and I met, I was in a relapse, and she had no idea of my history of alcoholism. And as our relationship developed, and we started living together and stuff, it got worse. Drinking never gets better for an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Drinking always gets worse. And I'm a firm believer that if someone has a time of sobriety, for example, me, I'm 20 years sober now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that if I went tomorrow to go have a beer, it would be like I never stopped.
Right.
That the disease of alcoholism, I think, continues to progress, and I think that it would be a matter of time before I'd be divorced and I'd lose everything.
Right.
And but back to getting sober with Shannon.
Yeah.
We went through some stuff, and it was it was the best thing that ever happened in our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sober. I've stayed sober. I don't have a desire to drink. I occasionally go to a meeting, 12-step recovery meeting. Not as much as I did when I was in early recovery. I think it's important when someone's in early recovery to really surround themselves with that community. So yeah.
What was the shift in mindset on that final decision of like, enough is enough?
When you get up in the morning and you look at the guy in the mirror and you hate it. You can't stand what you see in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that, Shannon, I think I said this, I've been married 4 times. Shannon's my 4th wife. When you realize that I never married an individual just to marry him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I had feelings for that individual, but my alcoholism allowed me to cast all that aside.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I always make the joke that the one common denominator of every failed relationship I've ever been in is me. I was involved in that relationship. And when I was willing to take a look at that, through a lot of counseling, and here I am.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say it's nothing I did, it's nothing I did.
Right.
You know, I remember when I walked into my first AA meeting, I put on my, it was 1989. I put on my nicest shirt, my best pair of slacks, and I went into what was called a businessman's meeting. And this is in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I go walking into this AA meeting. I'd never been to one before. And there's all these guys sitting around a table. And I went and I sat down at the table and keep them to myself. And I looked around the room, and these guys started going around the room, introducing themselves and saying, you know, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm an alcoholic. And it got to me. And I said, my name is Keith. And I started crying and sobbing like a 12-year-old kid who just lost his parent.
Yeah. You must have been hanging on to a lot, though.
I was hanging on to a whole lot at that time. But thank God I did.
Yeah.
You know, those guys gathered me up, gave me the phone numbers, said, be here tomorrow. And 20 years later, still coming back.
Yeah, absolutely, though. So, I mean, that community is really a powerful community.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
I know quite a few people who have chosen sobriety now, which I think is fabulous, and there's no judgment about it.
Right.
I mean, and I do know, like, if they do come out, it's that people who do question, you need a drink, you want this, and it's almost like a pressuring because it's now out of the norm.
Right.
It's an out of the norm behavior where I think everybody should learn to accept that individual and their choice.
I make a joke about it today when people ask me if I want a beer. I just tell them I don't drink, and they say, "Why don't you drink?" And I explain to them I'm allergic to it.
Yeah.
I break out in handcuffs and divorces every time.
Oh my God.
Never fails.
Handcuffs and divorces. It's just, I just love all of that on it. It's the healing process that you've been through. It's the trials and the air. Like, you've learned through all of your trials. But you've also had the setbacks.
The setbacks are not. Every setback you have, you learn from.
And you've opened the door to that because there's a lot of people that don't use that as a learning tool.
Yes, agreed. I love being an older guy now because I'm fortunate that I've got a lot of younger men around me, and I like making an impact on other men's lives. And I know I have, especially in recovery. I've watched guys' lives change. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about that is having something that you can give to someone else. Somebody says, "Hey, I'm struggling with my drinking," you know, I'm right there to talk to them about it. But I can't do it for them.
Absolutely.
And that's the big thing, is that not enough, or I can't say not enough. A person has to want it more than anything before they can get it. And there's always someone that's going to make the excuse of, not this week, or it wasn't that bad. Or for me, it was pretty bad, and I was pretty lucky.
I think it's hard too in our smaller community to make such a strong change because change is scary for people.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're consistently putting yourself in the same position over and over again, you are basically, depending on how strong you are in that decision and that choice, you can cause a relapse.
And it's a lifestyle change. If you're a guy or a woman who likes to go to the bar every Saturday night and get drunk, but now you're going to quit drinking, you got to find something else to do on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And you can't
find a new group of people.
Exactly. You can't keep going back to the bar. There's an old saying in Alcoholics Anonymous that if you keep going to the barber shop, you're going to get a haircut. Yeah. And it's true. I always raised my kid with this, that I said, look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. From left to right, 5 people that you spend the most time with, and all those people are going to be you in the middle. You're going to take on everything that you surround yourself with to a certain extent, and you're going to be somewhere in the middle of that group of 5 people you run with, whatever extreme they are. Right. So it's important to surround yourself with positive people. Absolutely. Something that I cannot do is I call them energy vampires.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot of energy vampires, and I won't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. I'm too old for that anymore.
I totally get what you mean. You can just see the energy when they walk through that door, and you're just like, ooh. Yep. So being a waitress and a bartender, we would have quite a few people like that, and you would try to just keep as positive as possible, and they'd come in grumpy, they'd sit there and complain, bitch about just something else through work, life, weather, and it's just like, but there's something positive about it.
Yep.
There's always something positive that you can see. You just are closing it. You're just looking straight ahead. You're not looking through the sides.
Doesn't it suck to be the one that has to bring the positivity to everything sometimes?
Always.
Yeah, it does. And that's the point of taking care of oneself, I think. I try to be positive. You see me, you know, I'm always trying to encourage people and be positive. But sometimes you just got to take care of yourself.
Well, and I think we're probably in that way, one, because of our job, but two, it's because maybe we've experienced feelings that we don't want others to have.
Sure.
We've hit our lows, and mind you, I mean, I'm still only 29 forever, but you know, you hit that lowest point and it's the worst feeling in the world. Now, all you want to do is heal from it and share that experience with other people so they never have to go through what you went through.
But sometimes people have to go through what they go through. To get to the other side. I don't think that of all the things that I've done, I mean, there's no reason that I'm sitting here in front of you today that I shouldn't be dead or in prison. I mean, there's not. Just from the choices that I made and you know, the things that I got away with. But I had to go through all those things to get where I'm at today. I had to go through the bad marriages that I created before I could get to a good marriage that I have with my wife today. You know, I had to learn all those things. I had to see I didn't have a father figure. I had a couple of stepfathers, but they weren't what I would consider a father figure. And I had to be exposed to that stuff to know how to be a father to my son today. So I think that all those things make us who we are. I can't believe my phone just went off. I really thought I turned that down.
Doesn't bother me. The process of like growing through the storm. There's that quote out there. It's like you got to anchor yourself in something that you believe in strongly in, so you can at least ground yourself. But just use this storm as an opportunity to grow and see a little bit of light. Find your community, your support group, and the gym is honestly like just a great way to find supportive people. And I mean, it's hard because when you have a 24-hour gym, people usually have earbuds on, because I'm talking to people half the time with earbuds on, and I'm usually waving my hand like, hey, I'm talking to you. But it's like, I just met another gentleman. He's been coming to the gym pretty routinely, and he was telling me about his weight loss journey. And I questioned, you know, what changed now than your previous hamster wheel? And he goes, I looked in the mirror. So it's just really taking that time to look within yourself and diving into, are you happy with yourself? Because if you're not happy with yourself, then you need to make a change. Where's that change coming from?
All those things take one thing. And it's one thing that so many people lack today, and it's discipline. Discipline is probably, I think, the biggest thing lacking today, because we don't make our beds anymore. You know? I was taught in boot camp, and boot camp is what changed me. And I was in Air Force boot camp. Air Force boot camp was pretty easy, okay? But it was simple things like make your bed, do this, do that. And those things, learning those things was a springboard for me to be able to get into society. Because prior to boot camp, I had absolutely zero leadership in my life. I mean, I was stealing cars. I was a thief. I was, running drugs around town and doing things that, like I said, I should have been in prison. I was only lucky that I was able to walk away from the things that I did. But boot camp changed me. When you say what changed, it was the someone showing me the D word, the discipline word. Haven't always had it in my life, but now when it comes to my fitness journey, that's the biggest thing. Is I know I got timers. I know what time to take my creatine. I know what time to take my supplements. I know what time to get up and go to the gym. I know when it's time for me to do certain things because of the discipline. And sometimes discipline is very simple of putting a timer in your phone. And it's easy to forget to do that.
It is. Discipline is really hard. You can slip easily from it. The consistency, the commitment. You have one hiccup in your calendar schedule, throws your whole schedule off. And then people will say, oh, I'm going to just do it tomorrow.
That's like, I tweaked my back. I've been 3 weeks nursing this. Now I'm back to the other side of it where I'm getting better with it. And I know what I got to do.
Mobility.
I do. Absolutely. I can't keep pushing heavy things thinking I'm going to grow muscles like a 25-year-old kid because I'm not.
And you can follow the plans that I wrote up for Shannon.
Yeah, I know.
One step at a time.
She's been reminding me.
Yeah. But I would love to continue to talk. Otherwise, we'll probably keep going on forever, but I'm going to close it.
Okay.
First, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you for opening up and sharing your story. And I love the friendship that we have created. What is one tip that you would like to share to our viewers?
Discipline. I think that if there's something you want to change in your life, whether it's your going to the gym or your diet or any of those things, it takes discipline. It takes making a commitment to yourself and holding yourself to that standard. And I think that the relationship with self is probably the most important one, but it's also the one that is the easiest to get delusional with.
Right.
It's easy for me to justify not doing something. That's why the discipline of setting a timer and doing those simple things is what's kept me on that journey, I guess, is discipline.
Finding the community support too.
And finding community support, yeah.
People who uplift you and not shun you.
If you're at the gym and you don't know how to do something, ask. I can't tell you how many times I've done that.
Yeah.
I see guys like Tommy at the gym.
Yeah.
Tommy and I have become good friends. I've watched him lift and I ask him questions and he showed me stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to get outside yourself too.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I hope you guys all like, share, comment below with any questions if you have questions for Keith. But otherwise, we appreciate you and stay tuned for more.
Peace.
Thank you.